And we are live. Okay. All right, everybody. So, welcome to day three. What is that in French? Trois? Tres español? Okay, day three. We are live. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. So, welcome to day three. What is that in French? Trois? I shouldn't be doing that. Okay. We're very live. Okay. Okay, so welcome back. If we have not met, I'm Dr. Una. I am the founder of EntreMD. I'm a pediatrician by training. I love the little people. In this phase of my career, I am almost 100% devoted to helping doctors build profitable businesses so they can live life and practice medicine on their terms. So that is what I'm doing at this stage in my career. I'm so excited that you're here. This is Made for More Live. We are celebrating 47 amazing physicians who are co-authors of Made for More. The amazing Dr. Christina Dewey is actually the person who picked out the title. We're like, what are we going to call this book? And so many names came up, and then she said Made for More. I'm like, I can't find a better name for the book. So it was truly a collaborative effort. We're going to be showcasing some of them. We've met four of them so far. And so you're going to meet Dr. Dewey, who picked out the title. You're going to meet her today. And you're going to meet Dr. Beckford, who we call EBS Oprah. And you'll find out why when she comes on. So I'm glad you're here to celebrate all of this. And as promised, I am going to be delivering, some strategy, some roadmaps so that you get a lot of value out of this. So day one, we talked about the one thing you can have your dream life. You can practice medicine on your terms. You can live life on your terms. We talked about how it's at the mercy of your decision and your commitment. Okay. And so people made decisions and people made commitments on day one. And then day two, we talked about, three steps every entrepreneur needs to take to be successful. And it was all about speaking, but how to do that in such a strategic way. So who here made a decision, a commitment, like I'm going to own my speaking, I'm going to show up on other people's audiences, I'm going to build my platform, I'm going to do all of that. I may not know the how, but I'm going to figure it out. How many of you did that? Yesterday, right? Yeah, Dr. Philip, I'm rooting for you. She's like, yeah, I did that, right? So that's where we are because this is all about physicians. We're taking back medicine. We're taking back control. We're building careers that we love. They've told us we're stuck, but we're not. They've told us to stay in our lane, but we're not. And they've sold us this thing of we're not really good entrepreneurs. Like we're good at doctoring, but this entrepreneur thing, we're not good at it. But I am telling you, I talk about this in the EntreMD Business School all the time. I say we are building the most innovative, most impactful, most profitable businesses. And we can go toe to toe with any entrepreneur out there. Okay. So people are not ready for the version of physicians that are going to be emerging. People are just not ready. But you're here, you're ready. This is amazing. Okay. So today, what I want us to look at is three ways to mitigate the risk of failure as an entrepreneur, right? So yes, you would see the stats, you see the data that 80% of businesses go out of business by year five. But there are many that thrive, and we're going to be among the ones that thrive. Remember, again, we decide and we commit, right? That's what we do. We decide and we commit. And when I did a poll, I asked a question in the EntreMD Facebook group. I'm like, what do you think stops doctors from building profitable businesses? It was very interesting that most of the answers had to do with fear of failure. Okay. And so that's some version of fear of failure. Now there was fear of success as well, but fear of failure, fear of putting myself out there, fear of, what my colleagues will say about me, like I've gone to the dark side, fear of, all of that, run out of money, not be able to make payroll, all of those kind of things. And that came up a lot, right? And it's kind of sort of justifiable. It's just that there are ways around it. Okay, so what do we do to decrease the risk of failure? Is there a risk of failure in the process of becoming a doctor? Yeah, like you could have not passed your MCAT, you could have, not made it out of med school, you could have not gotten into residency. There's so many areas, but we decided and we committed, and here we are. right? And so that's the way we want to think about it. So I want to give you three things. These are three things that I have used. I ventured into the world of entrepreneurship 13 years ago, and man, have I loved the ride, right? So these are three things that I've used. I've coached hundreds of physicians, and these are the things that I set the stage for them to have so that they can thrive as entrepreneurs. Okay. Okay, so the first thing is like I almost don't even want to call it coaching. I want to call it strategic leadership, but let's call it coaching. Okay, but I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Okay, so the first thing is coaching. Now, people say that there's no shortcut to success, right? But the truth of the matter is that there is, though, right? Because there are people who've been there, done that. They have 10 t-shirts. They took one for the team, right? If they took one for the team, I'm a firm believer. You did that. I'm not going to do that. Like, tell me all the mistakes. I can avoid those. I can go where I need to go, right? And so even when I think about the people that I have had the privilege of coaching, so when I started my private practice, I didn't even know coaching or consulting was a thing, right? I went to the school of very hard knocks. Okay, because at this point there are no Facebook groups like you could go ask questions. There were no, and I was an introverted introvert, so I did not have a network. Like I had none of that, right? I was just like, go here, fall, get up, and go like, whoo, don't do that again. And so when I think about it, right, it took me 3 years to hit my first million in revenue as in my private practice. But then again, this is that thing of shortcuts. There are people that I've coached that in the first 18 months, boom, full panel, 1 mil. They're like, wow, this is amazing. We've even had somebody in the EntreMD Business School do it in a year. Like the week before, boom, she hit that. So my job was to take one for the team. It took me 3 years, but now it's taking other people 18 months. It's taking them a year. Do you see what I mean? Like there is a shortcut. So if you're trying to go somewhere, you look for somebody who has gone there and you tag along. Right? You look for somebody who has gone there. That's on one side. On the other side, when there are shifts in the market, when there are shifts in the economy, when those kind of shifts come up, leaders emerge, right? And you want to make sure you're in a position to be with the people who are going forward in the midst of trying times, not the people who are hiding. Hiding is easy. Hiding is so easy. So for instance, when the pandemic hit, now remember, now when we talk about the pandemic, we have a reference point, right? Like it's like, yeah, pandemic, right? But I mean, how many of you used that word before there was a pandemic, right? Probably only when you learned what a pandemic is. Like it's not, we didn't think about pandemic. Like, what are you talking about? And so when it showed up, it was so scary. It was so terrifying. People were confused, rightfully so. And it's like, okay, so what are we going to do? I'm like, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what the direction of this thing is. But I have made a quality decision and I've committed and I'm going to thrive. How we're going to do that? I'm working on the details. Okay. But I've made a decision. And so what that did is, and I didn't just say it, I came out and I was screaming from the rooftop. I'm like, guys, I'm like, how to pandemic proof your practice, how to do all this. Like I did all those kind of webinars. And you want to look for people who are moving forward when everybody's retreating, right? I'm so grateful, and I can boldly say that 2020, the year when everything did what it did, both my businesses did better in 2020 than in 2019, right? And so if you're looking for how do I mitigate my risk of failure, you want to put yourself in a position where you are around a strategic leader who has been there, done that, has 17 t-shirts, and is in the dogfight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not someone who's retreating, not someone who has a theory, but not the practicals, the theory, but not the results. You want to put yourself in that environment. That's what I do. That's what I help others do. That is 100% what I do for my clients. So there is a shortcut to success. Don't believe that there isn't. Now, you cannot avoid hard work. That's completely different. You are going to work hard, but there are shortcuts to success. they are coaches, they are mentors. Okay. And it's like now in the midst of recession, the people in the EntreMD Business School will tell you once the whole noise about a recession in 2023 was going to be difficult for entrepreneurs, all those things, once that started happening, the first thing I did is I came on a live session. I said, okay, guys, apparently there is a recession. We are not going to participate. They're on here, they'll tell you. I'm like, we are not participating, okay? These are the things that we're going to do. This is the way we're going to play offense. We're not going to feed into fear. We're going to leverage our community. We're going to do all that, but we are not participating. Okay, so you want to put yourself in an environment with a strategic leader. You want to put yourself in an environment with a coach. There are shortcuts to success. This is the reason why we read books. Okay, and let me give you a freebie here. Who wants a freebie? I'll give you a freebie. It'll change your life. Who wants a freebie? Let me know in the comments. I don't know. I might keep my freebie to myself. Who wants a freebie? Okay, so this, I'm just messing with you. I'm having so much fun with you guys. Okay, so this is the deal, okay? I learned this a long time ago from my mentor. He said, I don't read titles. So talking about books now. I don't read titles, I read authors. People can only give you what they have, right? And so when you're looking for a coach, when you're looking for a strategic leader, you're looking for somebody who has results you want. You're looking for somebody who shares the values you have. For instance, there are people who will tell you you can build this business, but you'll build it at the expense of your family. I have no interest whatsoever in building anything at the expense of my family at all, right? And so when I'm building the context of this is a means to an end. I want to build a business that's meaningful to me. It impacts a lot of people. It changes a lot of lives. It generates a lot of revenue and allows me to live my dream life. Do you guys see what I'm saying? And so, for instance, you pick up this book, Made for More, and if you picked it up already, thank you. The authors, thank you. Okay. When you look at this book, it's a book written by practitioners. It's not written by people who are telling you theory. This is written by people who are in the trenches doing the thing, right? So they have a lot of value to give. Okay, so when you're looking for someone who would lead you, when you're looking for someone who would be a mentor, you're looking for somebody who's been there, done that, and has a number of t-shirts. Okay, did you guys like my freebie? Right? And so that way you don't just pick up titles, like they may not even know what they're talking about. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna come off that. All right, so that's the first thing. The first thing is coaching. Okay, we're talking about the 3 ways to mitigate your risk of failure. Because I want everybody to build a brand, build a business that's wildly successful. Okay, I'm rooting for physicians. I'm telling you, people are not ready for what's coming, but they'll see. Okay, the second thing is accountability. It's accountability. Now, people sometimes say to me, how are you always so motivated? Like, because I'm always procrastinating, I'm lazy, I'm this. I'm like, nobody's ever always motivated. And everybody would like to procrastinate, and everybody's lazy. Okay. But the thing is, when you put accountability in place, you seem like you're always motivated. The momentum is endless, and you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to do. It's accountability making you look good, right? That's really what it is. Even when you look at the best of the best, you look at people who are Olympians, you look at NBA, basketball players and all of those things, they all have accountability built in place. Nobody is ever always motivated. And this may be very freeing to you. You might go like, oh, so I'm okay after all, right? Accountability. Okay, so when you are in a position where you're excited, when you've made new commitments, when you're like, we're going to get this stuff done, when you are in that position, the best thing you can do is then in that moment of strength, build the accountability that will keep you going when the inevitable moment of weakness comes, because it will come. Right? So when you're in that period of stress, not to say, oh, we'll always be this way, or how can we always be this way? Because you won't always be this way. That's the time that you put things in place, right? To make sure that you continue to do what you need to do. Okay? So for instance, I'll give you an example. I'll use the EntreMD Business School as an example because we built this in place, right? So this year we decided that we're going to be living 90 days at a time, right? So we have 4 years in one. So we have 2023A, which is Q1, 2023B, like, we're just doing all those things. But even the concept of doing that is building accountability in place. Because I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's happened to me where December, I was like, let me write my goals for the next year. And I was done writing them. And for some reason, my eyes fell on the goals for the present year I was in. They were the same. They were the same goals because I hadn't looked at it. There was no accountability. I was just being busy, but I wasn't being productive at all. So I was about to live 1 year twice. Like, can you imagine how bad that is? Right? Now, most people who have goals don't even look at them regular. Like this is what we do in December to get ready for the new year, and then we're done. But then we're choosing to live a quarter at a time. What that means is, yes, you have this big yearly goal, but you have all these 90-day goals. And you may not be able to grasp onto a yearly goal because sometimes what happens is we say, yeah, I have a year to do that. I have all of 2022 to do that. If you ever notice, this is like the 25th of January. Like we're almost done with the 12th of the year, right? And so it puts you in a position where you've given yourself 90 days. That brings some level of accountability. Now, when we come on our live sessions every week, we're talking about those 90-day goals. Today, our live sessions are on Wednesday. Today, they're gonna have small group meetings, like we're gonna have breakout sessions and all of those stuff. And they're gonna be talking about, so this is how far I've gone with my 90-day goal. This is what I need help with so I can hit my 90-day goal. Do you see how Dr. Chris is like, oh, is that what we're doing? Yes, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today, right? And so it puts you in this position where you're gonna do something. Like even if you came to like I don't want to think about it, right? Then but you're gonna do something, okay? And then once a week we have success groups, which are small group meetings that happen once a week. And then Dr. Beckford is gonna be like, so we talked about you remember we talked about speaking, right? In front of other people's audiences. We're like, so about those audiences, we're going to sit right here and we're going to pitch ourselves to podcasts and YouTube channels, and we're all going to be walking away with at least 5 gigs each. And boom, for an hour, 50 minutes, they get to work, they get it done. That's all accountability built in, right? So the more you do that, the more you'll get done. Nobody is ever always motivated. So free yourself from that pressure. You don't have to be, right? But you can build accountability in place so you continue moving forward on the days you feel like, on the days you don't feel like, and all of that stuff. Everybody has days when they don't feel like. The difference between people who are not going to thrive and people who will be ultra successful is that they do what they should do when they should do it, whether they feel like it or not. And what makes that possible is accountability. Okay, so someone was telling a writer, I'm so, I write and all that stuff, on the days that I feel motivated. And he said, yeah, I write every day for an hour at 8 o'clock in the morning, motivated or not. Right? Like, so who's going to be the best-selling author? Who's going to be the person who has 2 new books every year and things like that, right? Okay. So how are you guys feeling so far? I know I'm throwing a lot of hardcore things at you, but oh my goodness, if you'll do this, let me know in the chat. How are we doing? How are we doing? Yeah, we're great. Great. Okay. Okay, this is good. This is good. I'm not hurting anybody. Okay. The third one, so we talked about coaching and strategic leadership. We talked about accountability. The third one we're going to talk about is like number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's how important it is. This is how important it is. It's your community. It's your community. It is, I used to, like the cute meme on Facebook, like your network is your net worth and all those things. I cannot tell you how true that statement is. You cannot escape the impact of your community. Now, when I say community, everybody has a community right now, right? Like, so what we're really talking about is editing your community, right? Everybody has a community right now. At the end of the day, you will look like your community. No individual has the power to resist their community. You will look like your community. Why do I speak English? Because of my community, right? Because of my community. That's it. If I grew up in France, guess what I'll be speaking? Right? I'll be speaking French. That's it. Think about, sometimes, I'll tell this to my teenage patients. I'm like, so how is school? Is great. So how are your friends? If I meet them, would I like them? They're like, no, no. I'm like, why wouldn't I like them? Well, they're not really doing well in school, and one of them even smokes like weed and stuff like that. I'm like, so why are you friends? It's like, no. I mean, it doesn't affect me, right? Like I'm just me. I'm like, yo, let's talk about this. I'm like, it's like me standing under a vent and it's like full blast, cold air, and I'm under the vent, and I'm like, I won't be cold. Of course, I won't be cold. I mean, like I have my own mind, right? Who's bothered about a vent? I'm like, dude, you're gonna get cold. Like, move away. You don't stay there and resist the blast. Like, you move away. Okay, you cannot escape your community. One of the fastest ways to grow is to insert yourself in communities where it's filled with people, like people you want to be like. People say there's no growth by osmosis. Yes, there is. Like, yes, there is. If you're like, I want to thrive as an entrepreneur, but nobody around me is an entrepreneur, the people who are entrepreneurs are really struggling, all of that stuff, you find yourself in a community of entrepreneurs who are thriving. And then you're going to get to this point where you're like, I don't know how I became this person. Okay? I've told you guys my story. I'm an introverted introvert. I'm not a speaker. I was not somebody who would network. I was not somebody who would talk about money. I was not somebody who would ever say anything as ridiculous as I'm the founder of a business school. I would not write a book. I would not do a podcast. Like, you mean like air my thoughts on the worldwide, like that? No, no, I would never, ever do things like that. This is all as a result of the circles I intentionally put myself in. And what happens is, it's like if you've been in the dark for a long time and somebody puts on a bright light, your first reaction is you close your eyes. You could even put your hands in front of your eyes. But after a while, you start opening it little by little, right? When you find yourself in these communities, the first thing that may happen is that you get super intimidated. Like, why am I here? I don't belong here. I'm nothing like these people. They're all better than me. And you'll do this, right? But in EBS, what do we say? We're like, do this. But once you're done, then relax and adjust and go like, I do belong here. I do belong here. And you'll find out that everybody started from somewhere. There's no thing you're going through that's so unique. There's no fear you have that is like nobody has ever experienced before, right? You're just in a different phase of your journey. When you put yourself in those kind of environments, you change rapidly, rapidly. When you put yourself in those kind of environments, you get to find out that we're all the same. We're all the same. I remember the first live event we had, the first in-person event we had in EntreMD Business School. It was a vision retreat we had in Hilton Head. And so people come up and say, this is a challenge I've been dealing with, and this is the win I've had, because that's the thing. There's this honesty, right? There's this honesty. It's not just a highlight reel, like, oh, I'm amazing because of this. This is what I've been struggling with. This is where I'm winning, the trials, the triumphs, all of it, right? And I think it may have been Dr. Bhattacharya, but somebody came up and was like, I've been here looking at all of you like you're superstars, like you don't have any problems. I think that's what she said. And Dr. Beckford, you're practically EBS Oprah, and you're saying you have all these challenges? And that's the thing. Being in that environment normalizes all these unique challenges we think we have, because you're like, get in line. We all have that. Like, don't worry about it, right? And if you can insert yourself in there, when the challenges, notice I said when, not if, when the challenges of entrepreneurship show up, you're like, well, that person dealt with it and they came out, that person is still rolling through it and they're taking it in stride, and that person, I was like, apparently this is how it goes. So you don't quit. And every entrepreneur, I posted about this on my Facebook page, and like every entrepreneur will feel like quitting. You will feel like quitting. The best of the best, you look at them, you're like, they're amazing. They feel like quitting, right? But we don't let that feeling vote. We just need to stay in the game till the feeling goes away. A community will help you do that. There's so many people who've quit on business that if they're in the right rooms, they wouldn't have. They really wouldn't have, right? Okay, so what have I given you? Number one, coaching and strategic leadership. Number two, accountability. Number three is your community. Because tough times will come. They will come. But with a community, you can weather it. And in fact, I think in the EntreMD Business School, sometimes people will come up with challenges and they're almost celebrating the challenge. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I just got my first hater, and everybody's group is like, yeah, that means you're doing good stuff. Right? Like, something that should make you depressed is celebrated. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? And things like that. So it's your community matters. Your community matters. Now, for some of you, you're like, oh, Dr. Una, thank you so much for this. You just validated what I've known. And I have the coaching in place, I have the accountability in place, I have the community in place. Like, I'm 2023 is not ready for me. I am going to kill it. Okay. Some of you are like, Dr. Una, tell me more. Tell me more, because it seems like y'all might be my people. It seems like that. So I'm going to bring on Dr. Dewey and Dr. Beckford. But before I do that, I want to tell you about what the community we've curated, right? Like the way to mitigate risk, what we've curated, what that's like. And then I'm going to bring up these two amazing docs. But let me know in the comments, how many of you are getting a lot of value out of this? You're like, I am thriving in 2023. I know what to do to mitigate my risk. How many of you are saying that? I know what to do to mitigate my risk. I know what to do, right? I got this. Accountability, I can do that. Community, I can do that, right? Okay. So let's talk to you about this, because some of you are like, okay, I want to do this with the EntreMD Business School. I want to do it with these people. So let me tell you what that is before I bring these docs up, okay? Because I don't have any intention of leaving you guys hanging. Okay. All right. So first of all, the EntreMD Business School is not a course. It's not a self-paced education, check all the checklists and get a certificate type of thing. That's not what it is. The EntreMD Business School is a year-long program, except you're like Dr. Beckford, who's in year 3, Dr. Dewey's in year 2. Like some people like hashtag EBS for life, but it's a year long, at least a year long. And it is a community designed for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Like you're like, I want to do this. I've decided and I've committed. Okay, it is definitely not for dabblers. I will say that. If you're like, no, I just want to try this out because we mean business. Like the team decided and committed to help. Like we're committed to helping you build this. And so it's not a good fit for dabblers. But if you're like, no, I've decided, I've committed, and this is what I want to do. Right? What we do is we help you build 6, 7, multiple 7-figure businesses. So we have people from startup all the way to 7.5 million in revenue. Like we have the whole gamut. And we're talking, like we have docs in private practice who would come in. We had a doc come in, had no experience with business at all, wanted to build a private practice, build it to 3,200 patients in her first year, hit her first million in revenue. We had a doc who came in and is like, I'm specialty, but I want to do direct primary care, and did it, was profitable for day one, just posted in the group that she paid off $260,000 in student loans. And because that was valuable to her, like someone else would be like, invest in real estate. No, that's what she wanted to do. Gave her absolute peace of mind. She paid that off. And this is her first year in practice. Now we have a coach who works full time. It's like, this year, 2022, I think it'll be nice if I do 100 grand and stuff like that. Ended up with 171 grand, still working full time, right? And so these are just examples. These are people who are like, this is what I want to do. Okay. So, and this is about building a business that's not an end in itself. I've talked about it. Like if you're somebody who is like, I want to build a business, but I want to build it in a way that supports my dream life, right? Like for me, and this is what I encourage everybody to do. I encourage them. They're working on building teams. They're working on using their time strategically. So you have time for your family. You have time for the things that matter to you. You have time to go on the vacation. You have time to go to all the massages you want, whatever matters to you. And that's the reason why when, part of what we do is we do life planning, right? Like when we do our vision retreats, not just business, because that's one aspect, right? But the business is a means to an end in a way, right? It should be done in such a way that you're creating your dream life, okay? You have a very powerful team, EntreMD, to support everyone there. So I'm there showing up, weekly in the Facebook group, everywhere to support the doctors. The amazing Makita is here. She is a guru when it comes to sales. She's closed hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. She's a guru when it comes to events. She's the one that does most of the work for the events. She just makes me look good. People are like, Dr. Una, this is amazing. I'm like, yeah, thank you. How did you do this? Ask Makita. Right? But these are people that you have access to because maybe you want to do your own events. You need to do sales calls. You need to do consults, all of those things. Customer service. She actually started off as a bank manager in Bank of America before she came to work with us. So you have a lot of experience there. We have Dr. Beckford, who is a valuable part of the team. She runs the success groups. She's EBS Oprah. She dominates on social media, dominates on stage. She's just a total rock star, like total rock star. These are the people that you get to be on your side to help you to build what you need to build. Okay. So it is really, we talk about it being the only school of its kind for physicians by physicians to help doctors build six, seven, multiple seven-figure businesses. You will learn not the fads, not the trendy things. You will learn the classic things that are required to make business succeed. You will learn about marketing and how you can do it in a professional way. You will learn about selling and how you can do it in a professional way. You will learn about building a team. And it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. You heard Dr. Funke yesterday talking about her VA. We will show you how to do those things. We'll show you how to dominate on social media, dominate on stage. And you might go like, no, I'm an introvert. So am I. Right? So these are things that you can do. But again, in a classy way. And these are classic things that will work whether you're building a personal brand, whether you're building a private practice, whether you're coaching, whatever that is, whether it's a product-based things. These are the classic things that don't go away. Okay. And especially the times we're in now when you have recession, hyperinflation, all these things, people scared to spend money and things like this. You better understand the basics. You better understand the classic things, not the trendy things. Okay. So that is what the school is for. It is just designed to support you on your journey. Okay. Now, when you look at, what exactly you get, how that looks, you get, weekly high level strategic live sessions with me every week. Okay. So that's happening. And let me tell you something. The EntreMD Business School is something that is my life's work. I'm not in it to just own a business. I am in it to completely disrupt an industry. I'm in it to really set the stage for you to see as physicians that we are unstoppable. Like we can build business. Like you watch, right? Give it max 2 years. You'll be looking at Inc. 5000, which is 5,000 fastest growing companies in America. You'll see tons of doctors there. You'll see like on the biggest stages where they're acknowledging entrepreneurs, you will see doctors there. That's what I'm after. So I'm after your success. Like it's almost selfish. I want you to succeed. This is my life's mission, right? And so I'm saying that to say like even the things you need, I bring them. So they will tell you when we hit our first million at EntreMD, I said, okay, guys, come on, let me show you how we did this. Okay, this is what we did. These are the mistakes we made. These are the things we had to change. These are the things that scared me spitless. This is what we did. Go and do likewise, right? When we did EntreMD Live, we put 1,000 people in that event. I'm like, okay, guys, come on, let me show you how we got 1,000 people registered. Like, so I am constantly taking one for the team, constantly experimenting, constantly learning new things. I pay a ton for all kinds of different coaching. Some of them I would never use, but I do to experiment something that I know will be of value to the team. And I come back, I'm like, okay, guys, this is how you do that. I did it this way, I did this way. I tried it in private practice. I tried it in coaching. I tried it in speaking. This is how it works. That's my job. That's what I do. So weekly live sessions, it's high level, laser coaching, behind the scenes, all those kind of things. The second thing we do is the success groups. The second thing you get is the success groups. And in those groups, they're smaller groups, and it's all about accountability and implementation. Because sometimes we know all the things to do, we just don't do them. And so this is your opportunity to come in for an hour and work like high level, because in EBS, we talk a lot about RGAs, which are revenue generating activities. So we all come together, we work on revenue generating activities that will move your business forward. That's what we come there and do. And you're getting to do that weekly. That's that accountability piece that's built in there. Third, you get access to what we call the vault. Okay. And those are the trainings we've done over the years. You have them, organized by, like if it's revenue generation, if it's content creation, and all of those things, and then all the live recordings that have been done. So if there's something you need to learn that is not the focus at the time, it's a link away. Like it literally is a link away. And then one of my favorite parts is the private Facebook group, because I want you to think about you being in a room with 100 people, like Dr. Funke, like Dr. Toomer, like Dr. Dewey, like Dr. Beckford, people who are in private practice killing it, coaches killing it, online course creators killing it, speakers killing it. And sometimes people are like, I only want to be with people in my industry. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because innovation is not always something new. Sometimes innovation is just taking something from one industry, putting it in another industry, boom. And it's like, this is so innovative. It's not. Actually, I had a meeting with the billing company that I use. And they were like, Dr. Una, your practice is the most innovative practice that we work with. I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, thank you. That's the way that went. But I was like, yes. And I came back, I said, EBS, come on, what do we say? We are building the most innovative, most impactful, most profitable businesses without being prompted. This person is like, we see what you're doing. We see what you did with staffing during the Great Resignation, all of these things. Like, you are the most innovative, right? And really, when we look at what we do, we just take things that are commonplace in the online industry and pull that into the practice, and it looks like it's innovative. We just borrowed. And so you get to be with all these people, right? And you have a community where you can always come and ask any question. There's nothing like a stupid question. You can ask any question. You can share your wins. You can share your struggles. Like, how many places can you come in and say, you know what? Somebody just connected me with a billionaire. Like, I'm on text message basis with Mark Cuban. I mean, they will eat you alive. Like, if you think I'm kidding, go post this on Facebook group. They'll eat you alive, right? But here you come, you say that. You can come and say, oh my goodness, my business just crossed the $1 million mark. And people are celebrating you, right? And you can come and say, man, today I'm just not feeling it. I'm having a hard time. It's such a safe place that people have surgery and come post pictures of themselves in the hospital, like, like, this is what is going on with me, and I appreciate you guys reaching out to me and all that, because it's their safe place. It is a beautiful, beautiful place to be in. Okay, so private community. And then we also have live events, right? Like, so we're gonna be together in April, and we're gonna be in Atlanta. And if you can imagine what it's like virtually, then multiply that by 2 million, and then you get what it's like where we're in person. Like, it's unbelievable. There are not enough words. I think for this one, you can even put in like hashtag EBS retreat, and then just go look at all the posts that have happened, like from when we get together. So these are some of the things that you get. It's not a static program. It's just something that's built to serve the doctors and help them get results. Like I said, this is a little selfish for me. I want us, we're gonna do well. We're gonna do really well. We're gonna confuse the world with how well we're gonna do. And it's already started. Okay. All right. So are you gonna need to do the work? Yes. Right? Like I wish I could make that go away, but I can't. But it would be simple, it would be shorter, right? My job is to create roadmaps, blueprints, show you the way, give you examples, do all of those things to show you how to get these things done. Because like I said, I've taken one for the team and I continue to take one for the team. Okay. So if you're here and you followed me for a while, like, maybe this is my third live event you've been to, you've listened to the podcast for 2 years, and you've been saying, one day I will do this. Well, today's one day. Okay. Today is one day. I hereby declare today one day for you. And I say this because we're burning daylight, right? Like we have 2023. We want to make this our best year. We're not going to do the same things to get there. Okay. So I want you to turn in your application. Makita posted the link in the chat, because it's application only, because because if you don't, Makita, you're like dcgeorgia.org/business. Makita runs so many things in my life. Okay, don't click on that link. It's definitely not that link. Okay, but the thing is, we want to embrace doing new things. We'll have you do an application because we have no interest in manipulating anybody or forcing anybody. That's not what this is. Once you fill out the application, concierge team will get on the phone with you, work this out, because we want this to be an absolutely or an absolutely not. What we want to help you do is get out of the indecision. Okay, so we're not here to convince you one way or the other. We want to help you get to a decision, the right decision for you. So if you've been following me for a while, today's the day. If you're like, I'm sure, then turn in your application. Okay. If you're like, I'm not sure, turn in your application. Because again, part of what the team is going to help you do is make that decision. And we've told people, this is not a good fit for you, or maybe you should wait. So whether you're sure or unsure, do an application where nobody's going to manipulate you, strong arm you. We really don't do that. Okay. My goal is to help people build 6, 7, multiple 7-figure businesses. So I'm not trying to convince somebody otherwise. If you're committed, I'm committed. That's a match made in heaven. That's the way that works. Okay. So EntreMD.com/business, turn in your application. Team will be on standby, and I'm going to shush so that we can bring on the amazing Dr. Christina Dewey. Cause I've been waiting. Hi, Doc. You can unmute yourself.
Hello. Welcome,
Hi.
everybody.
How are you?
I am great. I am really happy to be here. Yeah, I'm super excited. I am now an EBS master. I'll introduce myself a little bit. I am Dr. Christina Dewey. I am the CEO and founder of Peds Mama Doc, where I help physicians connect and collaborate to create change, which, by the way, is also the title of my chapter in my book, which I didn't remember that's what I had entitled it, because we wrote it a year ago. But hey, it works great. One of my strengths, I think, is being a cheerleader to everyone in the EBS community. I love building doctors up. I am a true believer that physicians deserve to have their autonomy and to regain their autonomy, and that we truly are medicine. And in order to kind of take back our place among the how we would like medicine to be and practice, to be able to practice medicine on our own terms and live life that how we imagined it would be, we need to run the show again. We need to be in charge. We need to be the CEO of our lives. We need to be the bosses of our own businesses. And yeah, EntreMD is the place to learn how to do that. I was thinking back as Dr. Una was talking, and I actually first met Dr. Una in another coaching program, and she did a presentation. And we, when I heard her, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to learn more. I need to follow her. So then I attended an EntreMD live session. I want to say it was in June, probably a couple of years ago. And I actually talked with Dr. Violina after that. I called her up after and said, hey, tell me more. I called up Dr. Una. I spoke with her. And you can just feel it in your gut. Like I could feel it in my heart and my gut that this was the place for me. These physician women, most of them are women. Now we have a few men too, but my EBS family is my go-to. Like you guys motivate me every single day. I don't know where I would be without you. I don't know if people have read my chapter, but I've gone through similar things that I wrote in the chapter from several years ago, happened again. I also have a chronic disease that I am doing, that I deal with every day. And this last year I spent caring for my sister, who was healing from pancreatic cancer and is now considered cancer-free. Hopefully it stays that way. But so I kind of took a little bit of a break from doing my business and now I'm all back, all in. The other thing is though, I showed up. I continued to show up every single week. I continued to do the challenges. I continued to do speaking and hop on live from different places. Got a little confused with the time changes because I was out in California and then I was in Minnesota and then I was in Michigan, but figured it all out and kept growing. And I think still working on kind of growing my business. I've actually started my own private practice, which I'm slowly growing that too, but I like to have my hands in lots of different things. And, and I'm a huge proponent with connecting people to other ones. I think the more we work together, the better the physician community is going to grow. And we are all we're change makers. We are, I think I said this at the book launch event, but we are examples of what's possible. You can find yourself in any of these, in 47 different stories. You are bound to find yourself in one of them, and just recognize how incredibly super awesome you are. And we're all just limitless. All we have to do is sometimes have that little nudge, or just believe that, or just have the example. Hey, she did it, I can do it too. Oh, how come I didn't do that? Well, that looks, and then you think, oh my gosh, I'm in the same room with Dr. Una. Oh, Dr. Beckford's always out there talking, and oh, look, here I am. Okay, so now I'm on live talking with you as well. And I think the more you realize and the more you participate and the more you put yourself out there, the more you realize that you truly are the expert and you really do belong in the room. Like you belong in the room. You are the expert in what you've done. I think I forgot to mention I practiced pediatrics for 20 years as well. Helped build up the second practice that I was in as well. And then connected, just thinking back, one of the things I wrote in my chapter too is that I submitted a EntreMD article. This was back in 2019. And part of the reason I did that was because I was connected with Dr. Marian Mass, who I also mentioned in my chapter, who is such a physician advocate and just a powerhouse with words and understands the whole healthcare system. And I feel like me being in contact with her, again, it rubbed off. Like she's part of my circle. She's my go-to. One of my go-tos when I talk to about health, and she's part of it was through those connections that I ended up doing more speaking at different conferences and such. And also she's the one who encouraged me she's like, well, submit it. Really? Okay. Boom. It kind of went viral. So anyway, everybody here is a huge powerhouse, but humble, and we all face the same challenges, and we all are supporting and want to build each other up. And it's amazing. I love this community. I love Dr. Una. I love Dr. Beckford and Makita and everybody else who's here. We truly are prime examples of what the world can be and how we can live life, practice medicine on our own terms, and truly, get back to why we went into this in the first place. Like, I love my patients. I love practicing pediatrics. I also love physicians. I think we're some of the most impactful, driven, resilient individuals alive. And we should be respected and have the autonomy to practice as we choose.
Okay, I'm feeling like we need jazzy hands for all of that, right? Was that good? Oh man, Dr. Dr. Dewey, I want to give you a special shout out because you had quite a year, right?
Mhm.
And so you dealt with your own health, and then you dealt with your sister's health, and you were really there for it. Like you were traveling all over the country and all of that, and you still we're committed, right? So everybody, this is an example of a decision and a commitment. You were still committed because at that time you did not have a private practice, right? And you're like, well, I'm still going to launch this. I'm still going to speak. When you needed to take it a little slower, you did. When you needed to go a little faster, you did. And you did what we talk about. You lived life on your terms. You practiced medicine on your terms. And now you're like, okay, I'm going to do it bigger and better. And this phase of my life, I can do that. So big shout out to you. Congratulations. And congratulations on being a best-selling author. This is amazing. And she is a relentless physician advocate. So if that's your jam, you want to connect with her. We connect with her too. Okay, so Dr. Dewey,
Thank you.
60
Yes.
seconds. What would you say to someone right now who's like, so I know I heard what Dr. Una said about this whole school thing, but what do you think? Like, what would you say to the person who's thinking about it, right?
If you're thinking about it, if you have that little itch, if there's like that little thing where you're just thinking in the back of your mind, is this all it is? Really? No, you really are made for more, and it's time to join in. You don't need to know what your business is yet. Sometimes I still don't know if I know what my business is yet, because again, I like to do it all, but you're just thinking about it. Then do an application, check it out. The community is amazing. The instruction and the commitment and just the amount of things that you learn and can be inspired by every single day blows my mind. Like I learn something new every week, multiple times a week, and then some. And I now have this huge network of physicians. I wrote in it earlier. Like I was having an issue with my EHR and trying to figure out a billing thing earlier today. And what did I do? I texted Dr. Narissa Bauer, who uses the same EHR, and she walked me through it. And it worked. So yay. It's just the connections. The connections work. You grow your network, net worth. You truly just get inspired and realize that you can do anything. And you know what? And it's okay to fail forward. I mean, that's one of the things we learned too. There really is no failure. It's either you reach your goal or you create what you were going after, or you learn the lesson and then you do it all over again. It works great.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you
Join.
for sharing that. She says join. After all that, she's just like, just join.
Just
Okay.
join.
All right, you heard her. Go turn in your applications. Thank you, Dr. Dewey. Jazzy hands for you. 2023 is not ready. Not ready. Okay, Dr. Beckford, you are up. Okay, this is EBS Oprah, okay? We call her EBS Oprah. She has a show that's run for a gazillion years. Dr. Bhattacharya was the one who started calling her Oprah. Welcome aboard, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. And hello, everyone who are here. Some of you guys I know, some of you guys I will know because you guys are going to be part of our team. I feel it and I've manifested it. It's out there, so it's done, right? So I'm Dr. Tamar Beckford, and I am emergency medicine trained. I am the CEO of Your Caring Docs. I'm a speaker. A best-selling author. I'll do that again. Best-selling author. Okay. That was for the replay. Yes, that is just so fantastic to be able to add that. In addition to that, I own Your Caring Docs, which is an organization that helps other organizations to build amazing culture and reduce stress and burnout through self-care workshops. I am also the host of the weekly show, the Dr. Tamar Beckford Show. I get to interview amazing physicians who are doing fantastic things inside and outside of clinical medicine. I've interviewed probably 175 docs at this point and going. So I probably interviewed some of you guys here. Now, as you guys saw, I added this title in addition to all that. You know how we have the mom, the physician, I got to add best-selling author. Now, how did that happen? Did I ever think that I would be an author? No. And it made me really think about it. I love the title that Dr. Christina helped us to come through, which is Made for More. Yeah. And you started going back in my mind, and I'm like, really, this more thing, more. If we really think about it, like when we were kids, what's one of the first thing that, when you were like a baby, you start learning how to crawl, right? And then the baby learns how to crawl. His baby's like, yeah, this is good. No, they're like more. For those of you guys who also have kids who are in daycare, what's the one thing they come home doing? When they want food, more, right? More, more. And so I started wondering, when did we stop wanting more? If you really think about it, like when did that start to happen? When it was just like, oh, well, you've done this, you shouldn't ask for more, you're being greedy, which is the rhetoric that starts getting put into our heads. You're a physician, you've done this, you've done that. Why is it that you want more? You shouldn't want more. But we all know that within us, wherever we are right now, it's just really the stepping stone for where we are meant to be, right? So being able to even be an author, that's one thing I didn't think that I could do, because I'm like, in my mind, yeah, I've already done this. This is not part of the story that I told myself. The story that I told myself were some stories that you probably have been telling yourself, right? Yeah, I can't do this. How many of you guys in there, if it's okay with me, Dr. Una, for me to talk to the crowd, how many of you guys in there are authors or want to be authors? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you're like, you know what? Yeah, I see Disha. I see you, Disha. I see you. Yes, some of you guys are authors. I know Susan. Susan, I know you have a book in you. Susan and I work together. Yes, I would love to be. I know you because you love to write. Exactly. I'm calling you out, Valerie. There's so many of us who have the story. I want to be Zoom user. You have to put your name in so we can know who you are. Jennifer Padilla. Yes, like we all have stories in us. Now, how many of you who have told yourself that I am not an author, I can't write, I'm not a writer? Huma says, we have another, Kasolo. Thank you, Kasolo. Who have told themselves that, I can't write, I'm not a writer. Me, okay, yeah, right? But we all have it in it. We all have these stories, these impactful stories, and there are 47 of them in this book. I was one of those people that didn't think that my story mattered. It's like, well, my hardship is not as hard as somebody else's, but it's mine, and you can see yourself in all of these stories. This is my story. And like putting it out there, it was hard because you felt, was I gonna be judged? But then after you got over yourself, you realize it's not about you. You notice if you're like, am I gonna be judged? Am I gonna be attacked? You notice that's all what? Inward. But then when you think about the impact that you're having, when you're putting all of this out, you're doing it for others, to help others. And that's the whole point of business, right? Is to serve and to help others. So you stop worrying about yourself. What is it gonna me? And you're like, how can I serve? And part of this process is something that we all have to learn. And that helps you to get over that fear that we all have with business, the fear that we all have with entrepreneurship, because we stop worrying about how will it look on me? How will people perceive me? When you really start digging deep and you're saying, well, how can I serve and help others? And when we think about it, that's why we all went into medicine. All of us have that service mentality. How can I serve others? How can I get others better? How can I help? Who's up in the middle of the night thinking about that crazy diagnosis? What is that thing that I learned third year in med school? I know it, right? Is because you want to help. So it's the same thing with business, with entrepreneurship. You go in it to serve. And once you start thinking of it from that service standpoint, you start getting over that fear, because you're like, I'm in this and I'm committed to serve. And I'm going to go all full force to serve. Now, the other part we always talk about, is like earning. And that's what's being part of the business school, allowed me to push out being able to serve, but also pull in being able to earn. So now we've balanced it out. So now yes, I can do more because I am made for more, right? Yes, I can do more. And yes, I can serve. And yes, I can earn. And guess what? It's okay. And no, I don't have to worry about the haters. Why? Because I have my community behind me. Anybody out there who wants to come and attack me and try to break my mind, I just go to my community and I can just express how I'm feeling. Trust me. 24 hours a day, there is somebody up in that community. And you will get built. And they will continue to help you to move forward to your goal, which you have your mission and your vision for your business to serve and to earn. Interestingly, as a part of the small group session last week, we did what is your vision for your business? We said that this is different than your IHOP. What's your vision? And trust me, everyone dug so deep. They said that was one of the hardest sessions because they had to dig deep. And because we all have a vision, like we're doing this, but we have a vision. You heard Dr. Una's vision. She was like, we are going to disrupt this space as physician entrepreneurs. That's the vision. So all of us have that vision. So being part of this great community, it helps us to keep in that vision, and no one can mess with our minds because we all have this community of strong people who have strong values and strong connections. Did we talk about Mark Cuban? But I'm just saying. But to help us really, really forge forward. So I'll end this by saying, if you are thinking, you have an inkling, do I want to? I'm not sure. Really think about it. What is it that you want for yourself? Right? So you have a vision. We've talked about having a vision for our business. What is your vision for your life? For us, we always talk about our 90-year-old birthday party. And, for us, I've envisioned my 90-year-old birthday party. And I tell you, I am having a great time at my 90-year-old birthday party, because within this last couple of years, I've checked off so many things off my list. Within these last couple of weeks, I've checked off a lot of things off my list, right? Accomplishments. So what is the vision that you have for your life? And if you have a business, what is the vision that you have for your business? You come be a part of the EntreMD Business School, and we can help you to solidify that and help you forge that with the accountability, the support, the coaching. I mean, you're learning from the best of the best. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but just go ahead and decide and be committed. And if this is what you want, we welcome you. Right? That's it.
All right. Jazzy hands for Dr. Beckford. Dr. Beckford started off like, make a video? What is that? I can't do that. And now she's dominating stages, getting paid to speak, paid to MC events and the whole 9 yards. So even God, yeah, some other things I actually can't talk about. Yeah, she got some things that are behind the scenes. They're coming. When they happen, you'll see. I just realized, no, I don't think I can talk about that yet. Okay, so super amazing, super amazing. And not only is she in her third year in EBS as a student, but she's also part of the team running the success groups. She loves helping people implement and holding them accountable. So there goes that. Okay, I want to be respectful of everybody's time, so I'm going to give you 3 things in 5 minutes. Can you guys take it? Can you handle 3 things in 5 minutes? Okay. So first of all, sure, unsure, been hanging around, apply. Okay. So entremd.com/business. Nobody's going to manipulate you into doing anything. We want to get you to a decision, which is either absolutely or absolutely not. Okay. I had a mentor once who said indecision is a form of self-abuse. I was like, okay, that's a little harsh, but all right. All right. Okay. So we want to get you to the point where you make a decision. We don't want to be indecisive in 2023. That's number 1. Number 2. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things. We're going to be talking about marketing, but we're going to be talking about how to feel fear and market confidently anyway. Okay, so we're going to be talking about marketing. So I want you to save the time, save the date. make sure you're here with your physician friends and colleagues. They will thank you forever, because remember, this is not just us. This is us and a movement, right? Like we're doing both, okay? Because remember, the more you influence your network, the more your network will grow, your net worth will grow, right? Like, so you don't leave people around you the same, right? You help, everybody should be elevating. And so everything's elevating for you. So that's what's happening tomorrow. So marketing, how to do it confidently, how to feel the fear, especially if you're an introvert, I got you. Okay. That's me. If you're an introverted introvert, if you're the person who your real name is not even on Facebook, I got you, right? Like I'm here for you. So I was asking if there's a replay. There is, it's on YouTube. I could give you the link once we finish. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is, and Makita will be like, oh my goodness, no, she didn't. The third thing is that I do have some bonuses for you guys. So I'm going to tell you about that real quick. Okay, those of you in EBS right now, just close your ears, because you're like, what? Just close your ears. Okay. So for the first, Dr. Beckford, for the first 5 people who sign up, you will get to do, so the first 5 people who sign up who are paying full, you get to do a one-on-one with me, okay? Which is something that happens, but it happens rarely. I'm really good at what I do. So one-on-one for 20 minutes is like compressing 3 to 6 months in one. That's kind of the way that plays out. Okay. So that's for the first 5 people who do the pay in full. For the first 10 people who do the payment plan, you will get to do a one-on-one call with Makita. And let me tell you, Makita built my private practice with me. We worked together then. She built EntreMD with me. She's done hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. She's a boss. Okay. And she has no idea I'm volunteering her time here. So we won't tell her. Okay. So the first 10 people who do the payment plan, you get a one-on-one session with her. Okay. So those are my bonuses for today. I am one, there's one me and there's one her. So which means when these 15 spots are gone, they're gone. I see Dr. Dewey taking a deep breath, like, can I apply again? Just so I can get that. Okay. All right. So let's do what we did yesterday. Let's do some stars. Okay. So tonight we talked about the 3 ways you can mitigate your risk of failure, because we are not building businesses that will fail. We are people who build businesses that defy the odds, because that's what we do as physicians. Okay. You check your medical score. It's like 1% of the people who applied got in. You are 1%er. Okay. So we defy the odds. Okay, so you learn that it's coaching and strategic leadership, it's accountability, it's community. Some of you will be building that on your own. Some of you will be like, nah, I'm coming with you guys. You already built it. I'll just plug and play here. Okay, so let's put those stars up. 5-star, 10-star, 1-star. Like, I don't know why I came here. Okay, how was tonight? Let me know in the comments. How was tonight? Dr. Dewey already gave us 5 stars. Thank you. You're part of it. Dr. Susan's like 10 for 10. I'm energized, right? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So this is just going to keep getting better. Tomorrow is going to be even better. If you did your applications, you will be getting a call from Makita. Okay. And then those of you who are in EBS, your live session started. Please go to class. Go to class. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. 8 o'clock. You should have 8 o'clock Eastern. You have the replay. But if you go to my YouTube channel, just type in Dr. Una Chukwu. You'll be able to get the replay right there. Okay. So good night. And I will see you 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.